MMAWeekly.com, Damon Martin here with Strikeforce middleweight Scoth Smith. And Scott, I mentioned, of course, middleweight, going back up from welterweight. Why the move back up?
You know, cutting to 170 is just too big of a cut. It seemed like the last 3 to 4 weeks of my camp fighting 70s, I focused on cutting weight, not improving as a fighter and focusing on my fight. So I need to be at a weight where I can just kind of relax and wait till the week up to start cutting weight.
Yeah. What does that mean? Do you tell a big difference going into this fight? Do you just feel better, feel healthier?
Yeah, I feel way better winning the fight.
So with that said, you know, coming off a couple losses, I mean, everyone goes through that in their career. But does it put any additional pressure on you with this fight?
I mean, it's a must-win fight. I mean, it's not really nerve-wracking. It's not necessarily pressure. It is what it is. I got to go out there and win, or I'm pretty much done with Strikeforce.
Do you approach the fight differently with that, or how does that affect you going into it?
A little bit. You know, to win in general, I got to go out there and take the fight to him, and I haven't done that in my last couple of fights, so I got to go out there and fight like it's a one-round fight.
When you talk about the differences, you know, you focus so much on weight cutting. If we look at those couple fights at 170, you know, people say that wasn't Scoth Smith. That didn't look like you. I mean, does it feel like this is the Scoth Smith we're used to seeing that's coming into this fight?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm hungry and ready to go out there and get a big knockout.
When you look at Lumumba Sayers, he's a guy who's had some knockouts as well. We know you're a guy who tends to get in some wars. You know, it seems like you get better after you get punched. But do you look at this as another one of those classic fights where we get to see?
I could see this as being a slugfest. This could be a great war. It's a great matchup, but I think Strikeforce did a good job matching us up.
I know with the changes on the card, you guys got bumped to the main card after originally being on the prelims, and you know everyone was saying, you know, why that fight? And then everyone's like, well, Scoth Smith's always exciting. I mean, does that show you the appreciation that Strikeforce has for you?
Yeah, the Strikeforce and the fans too. You know, Strikeforce does what the fans want. And, you know, I've had a few tough losses in a row, and the fans are still there supporting me, wanting to watch me fight. That's a great feeling.
How do you balance that? Because we hear a lot lately, you know, fighting a really smart strategy and maybe outpointing a guy versus going in there and making it exciting. And you've been a guy who's always been exciting. I don't know if it's on purpose or it's just the way you fight, but I mean, how do you balance that?
You know, a guy like Anderson Silva has been accused of having some boring fights. You know, I've had exciting fights as of lately, but even George St. Pierre, some boring fights. Those guys, you know, that's not my style. That's not how I fight. But on the other hand, I'm also not a world champion like those guys too. So, you know, they're smart. They're at the top. I'm out there to fight and have fun, and the way I fight is fun for me. So I'm going to keep doing it.
Do you look at a guy? I mean, I look at a guy like Lytle who, you know, kind of had that same mentality, but he kept winning. I mean, you know, he was, you know, when he retired, he technically could have kept going and maybe been close to a title shot, but he said, I just want to go out there, earn bonuses, and have fun, and it translated to wins.
Yeah, you know, guys like Lytle and Chris Leben, those guys I look up to. Those are the guys I want to fight like. And
last question, with the win on Saturday night, do you have anything special planned for your buddy Tom Atencio?
Yeah, you know what? It's Tom Atencio and Lance Atencio's a 3-year anniversary, so I got to wish him a 3-year anniversary after this win.
We look forward to it. Thank you, Scott.
Thanks.